Welcome, friends, to the animation experience at Conservation Station. Since the 1930s, Disney animators have put their pencils to paper in service of the idea that the greatest inspiration often comes from the magic of nature. Walt Disney himself understood the importance of spending time around animals, studying their behavior and personalities in order to create realistic characters and dynamic storylines. This meeting of the human and animal worlds sparked a legacy of storytelling that has shaped our relationship with animals and conservation forever. Today, we invite you to become a part of that legacy as our own Disney artists help you learn to sketch characters inspired by the very animals found here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Get your pencils ready, because here comes our animation artist now.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? Almost afternoon. You guys are probably tired already, huh? That's all right. We're going to go ahead and sit here and sketch for a little while. Really relaxing. Don't take it too seriously. We are going to be drawing one of the classic characters. Nice little baby character named Dumbo, which is not his real name. That is his stage name. His name is Jumbo Jr., but he owned that when they gave him that nickname. He owned it. Just like Cinderella, not her real name. Her name is Ella. Stepsisters tacked on that cinder thing on there. So own it! Don't worry about whether your picture's good or bad. Just keep drawing. Let other people decide that stuff. While they're deciding that, keep drawing. All right? So, in order to inspire you, I would love to bring a little baby elephant in here. But instead, since Stella's kind of busy out there, we're going to just go ahead and look at babies. How about that? Go ahead and take a look up at the screens for some inspiration.
Cubs, kits, or calves, no matter what you call them, you just can't help but be drawn to babies. It's like they have you under a magical spell. But what is it about them? Well, we're drawn to some babies just because of their small size. Like, look at this baby hippo. It's like a miniature version of the grown-up size, but a baby hippo is born at about 60 pounds, and mom, well, she weighs in at about 3,000 pounds. Adorable. And then there's this irresistibly fluffy little flamingo chick standing there under the towering legs of the adults, covered with gray, downy feathers. They don't get pink until they're about 2 or 3 years old. And believe it or not, babies have cute down to a science. That's right. Scientists have recognized that babies of many different species share similar features that trigger a cute response in humans. At 200 pounds, a baby elephant might not be small to us, but it's very small for an elephant. And super cute, which is good because a baby elephant will be dependent on its mom for 3 to 5 years. And then there are those who, well, let's just say take a less traditional approach to cute. Okay, they might not be cute at all. There, I said it. But they're no less valuable, they're no less precious, but let's just move on. So what does make a baby cute? The key to cute is all about proportions, like big round eyes and an itty-bitty face, a short snout and long wobbly limbs. And they do all sorts of cute baby stuff like playing and being clumsy while they're playing. But through our eyes, every baby is adorable. They all get the same investment in care and attention, and we work hard to preserve the magic of nature so that all this cuteness can thrive for decades to come. So be sure to scout around our parks and resorts to catch a peek of our newest arrivals. Remember, we warned you about being drawn in by their magical spell.
I know as soon as the baby hippo came up, I know you want to say it. Go ahead. Okay, a couple of you did. All right, well, those are some of our babies that are around here right now, but we are going to be drawing a baby elephant, and we're going to start with the eyes. And here we go. We're going to go ahead and start with these 2 ovals that are in the center. Notice one is vertical, up and down, the other one is horizontal. That's probably what I'm going to be saying, so just so you know. We're going to start with these 2 parallel lines inside there, and since it's already cut in half, this first line, we're going to cut it in half again. We're going to kind of put a little dot right in about the center of that section. And that's where we're going to start the top of the eye. Now, it's going to be an egg shape. It's going to go down below that second line. So I just want you to be aware that when I draw this, these are guidelines. They're not written in stone, they're written in ink. By the way, these guidelines, normally what we would do is we would have you draw those. So you're welcome. We're going to come down below that line. We're going to do a nice little egg shape. Do it lightly. That way you can always change things, add things, take them away. If you're not happy with it, that's fine. Remember, this is the first day of kindergarten. You're not defending your doctoral thesis, okay? This is not your capstone. You're not doing your MFA. You're not doing a PhD here. So we got those kind of sketched in there. And I'm going to take a little bit off of there. I'm going to put this egg on a spoon. I'm going to go ahead and put, this is going to be a little darker just so you can see it. I'm going to put a nice little cheek in there. Yep, he's smiling. Or at least we think he's smiling. We can't see his smile. Just like I can't see any of your smiles, but I know you're all smiling. It's nice to see all your smiling face masks. Just remember, any building that's here on property, you gotta wear this thing. It's superheroes only, no secret identities can show, okay? So we got those cheeks in there, then we're just gonna go over the top of our oval, smooth it out a little bit, make that egg nice and smooth, no cracks. That's when you can get rid of some of your sketchy lines. This is not going to be a finished picture, it's just going to be a sketch, so don't worry about that. We're going to have him kind of looking off. I'm going to go ahead and put a nice little circle in here, well, a little oval in here, kind of looking off to the left and up a little bit. We want those nice big eyes, so we're going to put some nice big eyes in there. Now, an elephant's eyesight is not their primary sense. Obviously, their hearing and their nose is a little bit better. But it's so irrelevant that they've had herds that are led by blind matriarchs. They just don't need the sight as much. I'm going to go ahead and put some pupils in there too. It's going to be about the same shape, just a little smaller, obviously. This is going to be the scene where we first see his ears. So we're not going to have to worry about circus hats or collars or anything like that. We don't want our elephants in there. I'm going to put a little glint of light in there before I shade this, so I can go ahead and go around that. Just kind of shade it in. So I have a little bit of a light in there. If anybody doesn't remember the scene or hasn't seen Dumbo yet, shame on you. It's been 70 years, or no, 80 years. It's been 80 years now. I keep thinking it's 1990. It's okay. This is where he sneezes and his ears pop out. And he's just proud as can be because he sneezed. He doesn't realize, that they don't like that. We're going to go ahead and put a couple of eyelashes on there. Just kind of come off. I mean, you don't make them long like Minnie Mouse's. Just kind of little innocent eyelashes. He's just a child. Now he's just eyes without a face. And we want more and more and more. So enough of that idle chatter. I'm going to go ahead and put some wrinkles on him to make it look like he has some eyebrows, okay? We're just going to go above this horizontal oval and just kind of put a nice little arch there. Don't worry, these are not real eyebrows. They don't have to be on fleek, okay? I'm just going to kind of make those nice little brows. And just because he's smiling and he's got his eyes kind of pressed up a little bit, I'm going to put a little thinner line above it, a little longer. That's going to be just a wrinkle. And of course, if he's smiling, he's got some dimples on him. So we're going to go just right down below our eye, and we're going to do that same spoon shape. So it's going to kind of come up toward. If you kept going, it'd be kind of a cheek right there. But we're not going to keep going. We're just going to kind of cut it off right there. So we got those two dimples, but we can't see his smile. He's wearing a mask, right? No, he has a nose in front of him. And I shouldn't be seeing noses either. That's where all the junk comes out when you sneeze. Ugh. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put his trunk in, and that's going to be down to this first little tick mark down here. Some of our guidelines are longer than others, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to put a little bowl on here. Big smile face right here. Big smile face. And this smile face on the right-hand side is going to keep going so it looks like a letter J now. And it's going to wiggle its way up just a little bit up to that dimple. Now there are 40,000 muscles in an elephant's trunk. They have the ability to tear trees out by their roots. 40,000. To give you a perspective, there's only 650 named muscles in the human body. Maybe about 800 muscles total. They have 40,000 just in their nose. We're going to do the same thing over here, except we're going to kind of make it more of an S shape. It's going to come down a little bit more toward the midline. And we're going to pull it up. I'm going to pull it out there just at the end. I'm going to make that nice little S shape right there. So we have that nice thickness of the trunk. We've got a nice big connection there. And we're going to take that J and we're going to curl it around and make that little finger that's on the end of an Asian elephant's nose. That little finger is so delicate it could pick up a blade of grass. So rip trees out, pick up a blade of grass. It's got a kind of good range. I'm going to put a little crease though in right here. Just put a little crease in there, a little wrinkle. And speaking of wrinkles, we'll put some wrinkles in the nose, just kind of starting down below the line there. We'll put a nice little arc there. Put another one underneath that. And we're just going to kind of follow this down, follow the nose. Except I'm going to go ahead and put a little smile face at the end. So I got that nice little roundness to his trunk. Okay, that was enough. Let's go ahead and take a little rest. We're going to draw basically what's already there. We're going to go ahead and start just inside our vertical oval here. We're going to start right on the horizontal, and we're going to come all the way around, tracing it until we get to the trunk. We're going to put that cheek in. I went right to dark on this one because I'm just tracing. You can go ahead and sketch it out. And you go, oh, I can't go ahead. Okay, that's fine. You can do that. There we go. We got the cheeks in there. Now we're going to go to the shape of the head. We've got to put the whole head in here. Now, his head is not exactly egg-shaped. It does have some temples on it. So we're going to kind of come in with this like this. And an elephant's skull can weigh 115 pounds. That sounds pretty heavy, doesn't it? Until you realize how many tons an elephant actually is. So, in essence, they're kind of lightheaded. So, technically kind of airheaded because the reason it's so light is it's honeycombed. Strong, but it's not quite hollow. It's kind of honeycombed in there. I'm going to trace the rest of that oval, though. And I know you're thinking, like Simba, he has to have this nice, luxurious mane on the top of his head because, you know, it's an elephant. It's got hair, right? Well, sort of. Here's his luxurious mane. We're just going to kind of put a couple little hairs up there. And that's the head. But you notice we got a lot more lines. We're going to do a full body elephant. Guys ready to go? Let's do it. We're going to come down to that second line. We're going to come to the end of the second line. Come down. Kind of in line with our temple. Down to that cheek. We're going to come out a little bit. Not any farther than that cheek, though. And we're going to come back and curve it back in until we're even with that little tick mark down at the end. You can always take your pencil and kind of go, okay, that's about right. This is approximate. You don't have to be exact. Like I said, the guidelines are just there to guide you, not to tell you exactly where everything goes. Going to do the same thing on the other side. Nice little shoulder. And bring it down until we're about even with that line. So we have the outside of the front legs. We're going to go ahead and make the inside, which is just going to come off of that line, that little tick mark we put the trunk on. A little curved line down to the bottom of that line right there. Just kind of right across from there. So we have this kind of like line going across. And if you need to put that line on, you can always do that. Now I kind of liken his feet. Now everybody knows that elephants have flat feet, right? Everybody knows that? Well, you're wrong. Their feet are flat, but they don't walk on flat feet. They walk on their toes. The flat feet are actually shock absorbers. It's a sack of fat. So they have fat feet. And they can actually sneak up on you. They're like nature's sneakers. Really kind of cool. They kind of have that kind of, they walk like that. Take your 3 fingers, put them in the front, put your pinky and your thumb. That's the way an elephant do, okay? And so what we're gonna do, I always liken this to kind of like a round staple. So we're gonna come off of here, round it off. Make it roundish and bring it around. And then you kind of have the shape of an elephant's foot. Do the same thing on the other side. We're going to come down. Bring it around a little bit. And it's okay if he looks like a plush instead of an elephant. He was kind of designed that way. Your elephant is probably beautiful. All right? I heard you. I'm not on television. It's okay. You're good. Okay, we got those in there. We're going to put the back feet in too. Now you're sitting there going, well, he's standing up, right? No, we're going to have him sitting down. So I'm going to put a couple ovals about the size of that. I'm going to put a couple ovals on the side of my little soup bowl here, I call. A little smiley face down here. I'm going to try and figure out about the size. Yeah, maybe a little thinner. We'll go a little thinner on that one. Try and get some padding on there. This is going to be the bottom of his foot. It's all right if you go outside the lines, guys. Even those who have coloring pages out there, if you go outside the lines, you're fine. Put one on this side. I'm going to put a thinner one on this side, though. Bring it up. Kind of make him look like he's got one leg kind of out a little bit farther than the other leg. So we're going to see more of the side of this foot than we are this one. We're going to make this into a flat 6. We're going to kind of come up and make a flat number 6. On this side, a little bit more on the side of the foot. So we're going to kind of come up a little bit. To connect this, I'm just going to bring it up and come back into the front leg. This one here, I'm going to start a little lower. We'll put the knee up here and then just bring out the rest of the leg. So it kind of looks like his leg's kind of kicked out a little bit. Put a little heel on this side. I'm going to come up, connect the leg. I'm going to put this bum right on that little tick mark. On this side, this is going to be a little longer, so I'm going to come out, bring it a little bit closer, and just kind of connect it. Now these legs don't really look like legs yet, so let's go ahead and put some detail into it. First, let's start with some toenails. A little partial toenail right here. Another little toenail right there. Nice little sunset right here. Another little sunset right here. We come to the middle, we're going to come over here. Put a couple little sunsets right here. Maybe he's on Tatooine, I don't know. A little partial toenail there. Another little toenail there. So we got, put 2 on each that way because his feet are canted out a little bit. Make sure you are wearing those facial coverings over your nose, over your mouth, not just on your chin, unless your chin is really, really cold. Thank you very much. Now we'll put some wrinkles in. Maybe 3 over here, 3 or 4. Down here, we're going to put some wrinkles on his wrists. Yep, I said wrists. They're kind of built like we are. So if they're standing on their fingers, their toes, that would be their wrist. Now, Dumbo is not anatomically proportioned as a real elephant, so he's more of a plush. We want to go ahead and show that this is kind of curving out, so a little wrinkle down here. And we have to separate his legs from his chest. So I'm going to go ahead and put a nice little curved line up here, and another little curved line going the other way. And that's Dumbo's body. We're done, right? There's nothing else to draw on Dumbo. except the most important part, the ears. See those lines that are out on the edge? That's not where you put the frame. That's how far we're going out. So we've already done 1/3 of the picture. The other 2/3 are his ears. So we're going to start right above the little bump that we made when we made his temple. Start right about there, and we're going to come up and arc all the way up to that line and bounce off of it. Nice little arc, and it's going to come all the way out to that line. Doesn't matter where you hit that line, just as long as you hit that line. It's going to kind of bounce off of that line. We're going to come to the edge of this line right here. We're going to come out, and then we're going to come back out just slightly. We're going to end up with a little bowl down here on this line. So we have a nice little earlobe right there. So that's just me sketching it out, just kind of where I want it. Once I have where I want it, I'll come out. It's going to look kind of like a butterfly wing, which is really weird because he's an Asian elephant. They actually have the smaller ears of their African cousins. African elephants have the bigger ones that are kind of shaped like the continent of Africa. You know, I guess in case they get lost, they know where to go. Asian elephants, shoot, they are all the way from India to all over the Asian continent. I'm trying to think of some of the other places. I had it written down. Oh well, we have that nice little butterfly wing. We got to give it a little bit of support. So we're going to come in here and make a little fold in his ear. It's going to keep getting thinner and thinner until we get all the way out to the end of the ear. And when I say thinner, you can make a nice thick line down here and let the line get thinner too. So now you guys have done one ear. Flip it and reverse it. Go ahead and go on the other side. We're going to come up here, do that same thing. We're going to come up, bounce off that line. I'm doing this really sketchy here, okay. Bounce off of that line, come into that top line again, curve into it. When you get in there, just bring it out just a little bit and make a nice little bowl right here at the end. Now this is actually not connected to his foot. It's going through his foot to connect with the other ear, but if we can't see it, we don't draw it. And I'm starting right in the middle here for some reason. Come up and back down. And this, of course, you can turn your board around. That's why we have give you boards. Me, I've got one camera here, so I got to keep doing this. We're going to do that same thing again. We're going to kind of come do that same line, kind of following it around, getting thinner as we go along. I think that's a little too thick right there. We'll go a little bit more. Sketch it out until we get all the way to the end. Maybe thicken this side over here and thin it out as we go along. The only thing left to do, if you want to, you can go ahead and shade a little bit. You can take the side of your pencil and just brush through the bottom of his feet. I mean, you can put shadows all over him if you want. I'm not going to do that. But I will put a nice little shadow down here under his ears, under his body, just to show that he's not up in the air right now. Kind of give him a little bit of grounding. Not that he did anything wrong to get grounded. Just we want him to be on the ground, kind of sitting there, smiling at us, saying, "You did it. You just drew an elephant. Congratulations, you did it." Now, this was done in 1941. 80 years ago. It was done at the same time as Bambi was being done. They didn't have as big of a budget on Dumbo, so they did watercolors for the backgrounds. They did more storyline for the movie. And if you look over to the right-hand side of the theater, you're going to see some of the people that worked on Dumbo and Bambi. Matter of fact, Retta Scott was our first female animator. She was credited on Bambi. She did the animation sequence of the hounds chasing Pauline. That was Bambi's girlfriend, if you didn't know. If you haven't seen it yet, I have no qualms giving you spoilers. You've had enough time. Mary Blair beside her, she ended up helping us in many, many different ways. She started out in ink and paint and ended up designing It's a Small World. So if you've ever been on It's a Small World, you've seen Mary Blair. If you've been to the Contemporary Resort and seen that big mosaic up on the 4th floor, over where the monorail is, that's Mary Blair. You got these two guys in the center. That's Frank Thomas, Ollie Johnston, always called Frank and Ollie, always Frank and Ollie, Frank and Ollie, Frank and Ollie. As a matter of fact, they wrote the book on animation, literally. They wrote it, it's called The Illusion of Life. And then there's one other gentleman who is working on Bambi. By the way, the exit is over to the left-hand side of the theater. There's one more gentleman over there working on a lapboard, very much like the one you're working on. He's working on the film that's just down the hall, working on Bambi. His name is Walt Disney. You are doing what the founder of this company has done. That makes you part of the Disney animation legacy. Congratulations. And in front of you is your diploma. So, make it official and sign your work. Make sure everybody knows whose masterpiece this is. Now, in just a few minutes, you're going to be leaving here. As I said before, the exit's going to be to the left. Those boards, just put them on the back of your chair like you found them for the next group of artists coming in. Everything else is yours to keep, including the pencils. Pencils are yours. If you have crayons, keep the crayons. You're going to head out to the left-hand side and out. Thank you very much, folks. I always encourage people to keep drawing, just not here, because we do have another class coming in. So go ahead, roll up those pictures, head on out toward the exit. Always roll them up, never crease the masterpiece. But thank you for drawing with me, folks. I hope you guys have an enjoyable day. And until next time, we'll see you real soon. Thank you, everybody.